so much as a warning. Life hangs in the balance. Human endeavor turns to chaos. And within seconds, nothing will ever be the same. Ever. We have scoured the world to find jaw-dropping tape of moments of destruction. From a young skier's brush with death when his attempt to complete a daring 100-foot jump comes up short, to a military pilot who stuns an airshow crowd when he crashes an F-18 jet during a dangerous stunt. Just when you think it's safe to relax, everything gets destroyed in seconds. A powerful street machine, a desolate track, and a driver with a desire to break an all-time speed record. A thrilling combination, but not without risk. Utah's Bonneville Salt Flats, 159 square miles of the widest and flattest open space on Earth. During Bonneville Speed Week, the flats become a proving ground for the fastest vehicles on 2, 4, or even 3 wheels. Today, driver Jim Metterer is hoping to set a new record for production car speed. The number to beat is 241 miles per hour. Jim wants to hit 300 miles per hour in his modified Mazda RX-7 with its 900 horsepower engine. Jim sets off on his record-breaking attempt. The risk of crashing increases as he clocks speeds of 150, 200, and then 225 miles per hour. At 230 miles an hour, just 12 miles an hour shy of breaking the record, Jim is not picking up enough speed. He turns up the oxygen mix in the fuel. It adds at least 50 more horsepower to the engine. The extra power boost causes him to lose control. The rush of air flowing underneath the RX-7's body sends it airborne. Jim tries to deploy the emergency parachute in desperation, but it's too little, too late. When the car ends its slide, flames erupt in front of the windshield. Jim frees himself from the harness and roll cage. Shimmies out of the car and hits a button that releases carbon dioxide to put out the flames. Despite his spectacular wipeout, Jim walks away without a scratch. The car is damaged, but salvageable. 3 years after this crash, Jim finally beats the old speed record by hitting 242 miles per hour. He has yet to reach his personal goal of 300. It's the El Toro Marine Base Air Show in Southern California. 150,000 spectators take in 3 days of aerial thrills. One of the attractions is this supersonic F-18 Hornet fighter jet.
piloted by Marine Colonel Jerry Caddick. Caddick is one of the most experienced fighter pilots in the Marines. Early in his career, he earns the call sign Kamikaze after he twice lands jets with failed engines. Many are here just to see the highly decorated pilot perform a difficult and rarely seen maneuver called the square Immelman. Caddick successfully completes this stunt twice over the 3-day event. But on his third and final performance, something goes wrong. Caddick is supposed to fly a series of 90-degree angles, then level out to complete a square. This split screen shows the view from the ground on the right and the view from the cockpit on the left. Caddick heads straight for the ground at 300 miles per hour. He slams into the tarmac and skids across the runway. Investigators believe Caddick became disoriented as he sped up to complete the square. When he realizes he's too close to the ground, it's too late. At 114 miles per hour, the aircraft slams to Earth.
Altitude.
Emergency crews rush the pilot to the hospital, but the prognosis is not good. Caddick has a fractured neck, a compressed spinal cord, and a collapsed lung. He spends 5 months in the hospital, but the man nicknamed Kamikaze survives one of the hardest crash landings in air show history. Mount Shasta, California. A film company has taken over the slopes to shoot an extreme ski video. This newest film will feature some of the most incredible freestyle skiers in the world. For 10 days, the cast and crew build 2 giant 100-foot channel gap ramps, which are intended to be the highlight of the film. Once they're complete, skiers realize that the only way to get up enough speed to clear the gap is to be towed behind a snowmobile. At close to 65 miles per hour, skiers let go of the tow rope and rocket towards the ramp. After some spectacular runs off the first ramp, they turn their attention to the untested second ramp. After careful consideration, 16-year-old pro freestyler Derek Spong decides to try the jump. He thinks the approach is long enough to give him the speed he needs to clear the 100-foot gap. Unfortunately, he doesn't take into account the changing snow conditions. On the slopes of California's Mount Shasta ski resort, filmmakers begin shooting a movie featuring extreme skiers. One of the film's highlights is the dual 100-foot gap jumps. After some remarkable aerials off the first ramp, 16-year-old pro freestyler Derek Spong is set to take off from the yet untested second ramp. Unfortunately, no one factors in the changing snow conditions. Rising temperatures through the day cause the snow to soften, and Derek loses speed too quickly. He comes up 5 feet short and collides with the base of the landing ramp. He drops to the ground unconscious. Fellow skiers and film crew rush to Derek's aid and immediately call for ski patrol. He's rushed to the hospital with various injuries, including broken ribs, cracked vertebrae, and a partially torn spleen. He'll need surgery to sew up a torn aorta, the artery that carries blood from the heart. After several surgeries, Derek is back on the slopes. The devastating crash ends up being the climax of the film. July 6, 2000. Firefighters battle a blaze at a gasoline plant in Omsk, Russia. A freight train pulling 9 tank cars is stationed nearby. Each tank car is filled with 60 tons of highly volatile natural gas condensate. Despite the danger, spectators flock to the scene for an up-close look. Firefighters try to keep the flames from spreading to the tank cars, but their efforts fail. The explosion splashed flaming gasoline across the plant grounds and onto surrounding buildings. After 3 hours, fire crews finally bring the blaze under control. Some of the train's tanker cars are blown wide open and completely flattened. Dozens of spectators, as well as medical crews assisting at the scene, suffer burns from the fiery explosions. 3 people, including 1 firefighter, lose their lives. The cause of the fire is never officially determined. It's believed that the disaster may have been caused by illegal siphoning, the attempted theft of gasoline. The St. George Motorboat Club in Sydney, Australia, plays host to an annual Formula One speedboat race. The event features some of the fastest boats on the water in a race of tight turns on uneven seas. Today, Malcolm McCall will be racing for the championship in his 700 horsepower F1. Hoping to make it into the finals, McCall pushes hard for the win, but his day will not end in victory. Sydney, Australia. Driver Malcolm McCall in his white Formula One, nicknamed The Chase, is racing in the St. George Motorboat Championship. A win today will move him on to the leaderboard for the season. McCall is battling 3 other racers for first place when a sudden gust of wind gets under his bow. At speeds of 120 miles per hour, the gust sends McCall and his boat 30 feet into the air and over backwards. The bow violently clips the water, ejecting McCall headfirst from his cockpit. He narrowly misses hitting his supercharged motor as it bursts into flames. McCall's body slams the water at nearly 100 miles per hour.
The boat's come back up the right way. I don't know where the bloke is.
Rescue crews rush in and pull him from the water. McCall suffers 6 broken ribs, 3 smashed vertebrae, and several internal injuries. It takes 6 months for him to make a full recovery, but he eventually returns to racing. His $100,000 boat is completely destroyed. NASA's Wallops Flight Facility,
5,
Virginia,
4,
1995.
3, 2, 1, 0. Have ignition of the
A commercial rocket called the Conestoga 1620 is launched over the Atlantic Ocean.
We do have pitch over. We have pretty good radar sources at this time.
The roughly 5-story tall Conestoga was originally designed to make supply runs to the International Space Station.
We have vehicle failure. We do have rare vehicle failure at this time. Have ignition of the Conestoga 16.
During its ascent, vibrations confused the onboard navigation system into thinking that the rocket is going off course, even though it's not. This engages the automatic self-destruct system, and the rocket is destroyed. All 8 of the rocket's boosters are supposed to self-destruct as well, but only 6 explode. The 2 remaining boosters careen wildly as they burn off the last of their fuel. Self-destruction devices prevent rockets from veering towards land and hitting populated areas.
We would ask at this time that everyone remain in their current locations, and please do not move.
When the engines on the boosters burn out, each 30-foot long cylinder begins a long descent. This footage makes it appear as though the boosters and debris are falling on land, but they're actually falling 14 miles offshore into the Atlantic Ocean. The impact is so great, the splash can be seen from this distance.
2, 1, 0. Have ignition of the Conestoga 1620 and has...
The Conestoga rocket program is scrapped after the $20 million loss. It marks the first time at Wallops Island that a rocket failed on its maiden voyage.
We would ask at this time that everyone remain in their current locations, and please do not move.
Julian, North Carolina. Hundreds gather at the Piedmont Dragway for the first North versus South $50,000 Big Dog Shootout. 30 dragsters compete for the chance to win the prize and title. In their 2,000 horsepower cars, these pros race down the 1/8 mile track at a top speed of 150 miles per hour. Junior Ward is in the white car. The blue truck is driven by racer Ricky Young. Ricky doesn't know it, but his rear axle is near the breaking point and is just one race away from failing. It's the first North versus South $50,000 Big Dog Shootout. This qualifying round pits South against South. On the right is Junior Ward. On the left, in the blue truck, is Ricky Young. As Ricky peels out, his axle, weakened by normal wear and tear, breaks, causing his truck to veer directly into Junior. As the cars slam together, Junior's front right tire snaps off and flies into the air. The impact sends Junior's racer into the guardrail. It bursts into flames and skids down the track. Junior's front panel gets sucked under the car and shoots out the back end. The dragster slides to a slow stop. Within seconds, emergency crews are on the scene. Even Ricky rushes over to check on his opponent. Junior walks away from the wreckage and is visibly upset to see his car in ruins. As for Ricky, he too walks away from his damaged truck. Both men suffer minor injuries. 200 miles northeast of Darwin, Australia, the French cargo ship Laura experiences engine trouble. She drops anchor for repairs. She's a 1,283-ton vessel carrying loads of concrete and bitumen, a heavy tar-like form of petroleum. 16-foot swells and 20-knot winds batter the ship, causing the cargo to break loose. A dramatic shift in weight occurs when drums of bitumen roll to one side of the ship. Laura lists dangerously to port. Waves crash over her deck. She starts to take on water. The captain sends out a distress call, then orders his crew to abandon ship. The vessel finally rolls over. The crew then spends 7 hours on the 2 life rafts. The Royal Australian naval ship, the Wollongong, arrives, and all of Laura's crew is rescued and uninjured. 90 minutes later, their ship is gone. The Laura and all her cargo are sent to the bottom of the sea.
We'll see you next time on Destroyed in Seconds.